Alrighty, it is time for another episode of Ink Transfer Drawing with Mark Zimmerman, brought to you by the good folks at Sanford Arts. My name's Mark Zimmerman. I'm rolling ink out on a sheet of plexiglass so that I can do an ink transfer drawing. So that's thin layer of very stiff ink, printmaking ink, etching ink, and a sheet of paper goes on top of that, which I'll tape down so it doesn't move. If it moves, I kind of get some smudges I might not like too much. Okay, ready for an ink transfer drawing. I'm going to rub and draw on the back of this. First I want to know where that ink is at. It is inside a rectangle of tape, and I can feel that tape. Drag the pen along the edge of the tape. There we go. So I'm just going to do something really simple. I'm looking at a poppy and a photograph of a poppy. I don't actually know poppies well enough to draw one without seeing it. There's this cool structure in the middle. It's really quite something. I would imagine that has a name. Alright, so looks like there's quite a bit of dark in the center here. I'm just kind of working my way out. All right. There's a petal. Lighter pressure transfers less ink. I better do this one next. And and maybe this one, huh? And then just this big one here. This is all one petal, maybe? Maybe. And then, wow, really, really thin little stem. With little hairs on it. I think I want to horizon down here. And I want it at a particular spot. Looking at a golden proportion of this 11-inch rectangle. 11, and then 6 3/4 and 4 1/4 is kind of a special little golden rectangle division. Let's just put this in here. I'm going to grab a bridge. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have not set my hand down on the paper, rested it on the paper since I started drawing. And I'm going to use a bridge to rest my hand on while I do this. For some reason I feel like a bridge all of a sudden. Not like I'm staying in the lines exactly or anything, but... And then I think I'm going to come back and double down on that. My pen quit working. Still transfers ink, but I can't see what I'm doing. I might actually be done anyway. I think maybe I want a little more of a shadow here. And just a little shadow down one side of that stem. And then I think I'm just going to put a little light texture down in here. Very, very light pressure of my finger in the back of the paper transfers ink as well. That's why I didn't set my hand down. Let's take a peek, see what we have underneath there. Let's take another peek. Yeah, that'll work. We'll get the ink out of here, the plate out of there. And there's the photograph I was looking at. And then let's splash a little a little paint on there, a little watercolor. It's a very red orange. I'm going to actually treat it as if it's almost an orange. And I think the first thing I'll do is come back. You'll notice that it's backwards, right? So, yeah, and I can't pick a brush size either. I want a smaller brush. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to start over here, which is over here. Everything's backwards. And I'm going to paint some shadows in here. I got a little loose hair, there we go. So there's this funky little stuff's kind of purpley. It's a beautiful little flower, huh? Shadows. Rinse that off a little bit. Rinse it off quite a bit actually. I don't want any purple in my yellow. And I'm going to come back and paint some highlights. And with any luck, I won't have to touch any of that purple. Okay, I'm going to kind of let that dry. While that dries, give this stem a little bit of paint. And that's kind of the wrong color, so I'm going to come back with another color. A little yellow, soften that green up a little bit. It's a little much, there we go. I think I'm going to do a bit of I'm going to fade from darker shadow. Rinse my brush. And let that fade right out to nothing. And do the same thing over here. Okay. And a little bit smaller brush because I kind of want to stay in the lines here. Oh, and it's bleeding into that other. That's kind of nice though. I like that. We're gonna let that stay. I could pick that up with a Kleenex if I didn't like it, but that's the kind of happy accident you just can't buy. So there we go. Okay, now I can tip this paper and let it run. Using gravity to let me take this turquoise right around this flower. What is called a watercolor wash. wash with water, right? So I'm using lots of water, a little bit of paint, a little bit of pigment. I'm going to turn it this way, tip it this way, so it wants to flow in a new direction. Still letting it flow. Ooh, dripping. I'm sorry, but I'm going to tip this way. Let that paint run down there. And then run back the way we started. Okay. That might be it for the sky. I'm still going to come back and do something down in here. Okay. I might have to mix this color. So I'm going to stir up a little orange and a little red. And there I've got a red-orange this time. And I got junk hanging out of my brush. And I'm bumping the tripod. See if I can get some of that paint to follow my brush. Got a little too much over here, so I'm going to drag it up here. There's my paint. Well, I made enough of that, didn't I? I picked up some purple. Didn't mean to do that. I meant to let all that purple dry before I came back. And let's pick up some of that. So I've got a dry brush now. I'm just picking up paint where I don't need it. Getting kind of fussy. Try not to do that. I do try not to do that. Let's get a little bit smaller brush, and I'm going to mix up a little bit of this yellow ochre. See if I can get rid of enough of it that when I come back in here I don't, yeah, there we go. Don't cover up the yellow ochre is kind of opaque, and I don't want to cover up the ink. Let's see here. coming back with just red. Yeah, I think we're there. We just have a purple problem in the bottom of our paper. And I think we're dry enough we can paint over it now. The purple there is really going to operate like a shadow, like the purple did on the flower itself. See if I can leave that green there. I like that green that bled out. Again, tipping that paper so it runs in the direction that I want it to run. And I have too much paint, so I will again dry my brush and pick it up. And I made enough poppy red to paint 10 of those, maybe 15. So I always sign them in pencil. I've got a pencil here. And too much paint right there. Let's pick that up. There we go. Okay. So we'll call it Poppy Plains and sign it Zimmerman and date it 2020, and there you have it. That's how it works. Hope you had fun watching. I had fun playing around. So till next time.